How's it going, everybody? I'm aware that the punish video is quite late this time. Normally I release these within 2 or so weeks of a character's release, but these are special circumstances and the constant changing of damage numbers would have just made for an instantly outdated video. But I'm pretty confident that these numbers will stick for a while, or at least I'm hoping they will. Most of you should be familiar with the punishes by now, but it doesn't hurt to make the video anyways. As usual, we'll start with the easy ones, then the out of stamina ones, and at the end a few tips and tricks on how to play, as well as play against Warmonger. So let's get started then. A guard break nets you a side heavy for 24 damage. Top is blockable. On a heavy parry you can use a light for 12 damage, this is if you want to continue with bash pressure. Slightly more damage comes with a zone, which gives you 13. If there is a wall nearby, you can go for the special parry impale. That one is a total of 30 damage, split into 10 direct and 20 bleed. The trajectory of your impale slightly changes depending on the direction of the attack you just parried, so keep that in mind when you aim for the wall or the ledge. On a light parry, you get every heavy, but top is the higher damaging one with 27. What you need to keep in mind here is that even on a light parry, the impale into a wall does more damage. Speaking of walls, wall splats also give you a top heavy. The window is really generous and even on short distance throws you can comfortably get the top heavy. Be aware that your back throw has abysmal range though. On a max range forward throw, you can also get a fully charged bash into heavy. That gives 1 more damage than the top heavy, 28 to be exact. As with all of these, be very sure that you actually are at the correct distance. Without stamina, wall throws aren't all that forgiving. You need proper distance pretty much every time, and you also shouldn't guard swap after the throw. Highest chance of landing is with a side heavy. Forward and side throws seem to give you the highest chances of landing the attack. Without a wall nearby, you can simply light on a GB, all sides work. Same goes for a light parry when out of stamina, all lights will connect. Now for the out of stamina punishes, let's get the impale out of the way first. There is this special animation where you stab your opponent on the ground. This restores your own stamina. That's pretty much the only benefit. Damage is unchanged and clocks in at 30. The other actual out of stamina punishes are always the same. Depending on your stamina, you either go for a light into top heavy or for a zone into top heavy. That's 44 and 45 damage respectively. Stamina costs are high now, so make sure you actually are willing to spend a significant amount more for 1 damage increase. Throw directions do not matter at all here, you can get them every single time. As I mentioned, out of stamina parries are the same, light or zone into top heavy. If you want to execute your opponent, you can also go for light into fully charged bash into heavy. That punish is only 40 damage, so make sure it's enough. Key to landing the bash here is to delay your initial light, and I mean significantly. Your opponent has to almost be fully on the ground before you throw it. The delay window between light and bash is almost non-existent, so the important timing is your light. Otherwise you will hit wake up armor. Practice this beforehand as you will most likely throw the light way too early on your first few tries. Revenge auto parry should always be zone into top heavy. That's a 59 damage punish and actually feels more comfortable than light into heavy. If you check the info hub, it says it's a 58.5 damage punish. That is because in-game numbers are always rounded up, and revenge is a damage multiplier after all. Moving on to the out of luck ones. A forward dodge heavy gives you another light for 33 damage. A top heavy gives you an additional side heavy for 57. And a side heavy gives you another light again, that's 37 damage. Now for out of luck and out of stamina. A run-in heavy confirms another light for a total of 31 damage. A side heavy confirms another side or top heavy for 54 and 56 respectively. And a light confirms the bash for another light for 27. These are quite a few to remember, and it's not all that rare to catch someone rolling away and maybe even putting themselves out of stamina because of a variable type bash. But talking about the bash, I want to mention two things specifically on how to use them. Well, more like a little guideline on when it's more favorable to do specific things. You want to minimize the risk of your opponent punishing you for using it, and a very common way is to try and interrupt the Warmonger's bash. That is only a possibility if the bash was used after the first light. If the fully charged bash is used after the chain light, then the person being hit or blocking the light cannot interrupt it anymore. Warmonger's second light applies medium hit or block stun, which will make the opponent's light come out too late to stop the bash. The other thing I keep seeing is that people randomly fully charge the bash without their opponent dodging early. That is an extremely risky option, as people are more likely to dodge on full charge timing, giving them a free GB. You only want to actually go for the full charged one once you see your opponent dodge early. This is not a read on your part, you can do this on the reaction. It is unlikely that your opponent dodged early enough to dodge twice, especially if you initiate after a light. The key here is to try and minimize your own risks. I see so many people just throw these out completely at random, which gives the person defending against it the edge, as dodging a bash, regardless of charge level, always gives a GB punish. One thing I almost forgot, as I've mentioned this in a video before, the tier 4 feat applies hit stun, which gives you a free zone or light attack. Last thing, her side dodge unblockables. I see lots of people trying to bait out a reaction with them, so if you get an opponent that likes to do them, simply light them. Don't attempt to parry, but force the Warmonger to go for it. The unblockable is slow enough to light it on the reaction to orange. We're going to leave it at that. If you have any additional questions, feel free to ask them in the comment section or in my Discord. Link is in the video description. I hope the video was helpful. Thanks for watching. Laters everybody.